But yeah. And also, speaking about Niji Sanji, like, there's a lot of people actually do, like, keep asking or say this kind of things, like, especially people on the Western side, they will ask, why is, like, idol contract, like, just idol industry contract, since, like, Niji Sanji is basically mirroring those contract, why idol industry contract, like, Korean K-pop, or, like, J-pop, or, like, idol, like, or entertainment-related contracts, like, it was leaked everywhere, not just, like, Niji Sanji one. After that, it's, like, more and more people, like, call out for, like, the entertainment industry in, like, Asia side, like, how shitty all the contract is. Basically, they own your entire life. Like, if they don't like you, you can disappear with a lot of, like, debt as a surplus. That's the reason for it. I talked about this a few times ago, but I think you're not that sombrero, so, like, I can rephrase it again. Back in the days, jingle. Back in the days, entertainment industry, especially in Hong Kong, Japan, I don't know about China because, like, they are quite secluded. So I don't know how the entertainment industry are functioning back then. I think it's much more like government tied. But Hong Kong, like, one of the few biggest, like, it will say, like, entertainment industry, you would just immediately say Hong Kong or, like, Japan. Japan have, like, the J-pop industry back in the days, and a lot of, like, Hong Kong singer, actually everyone went to Japan and have, like, a fair amount of training. This is why Para Para Sakura is a thing, that song. So a lot of people kind of, like, got sent to Japan too. So, like, you can definitely say, like, when it comes to, like, Asia entertainment industry, the biggest is in Hong Kong and Japan. And you can say that entertainment industry in Asia, even, like, the smaller one in, like, a lot of places, end up, like, following how Hong Kong and, like, how Japan run that shit. You can already see, like, how K-pop run that shit is basically idol. All idol stuff, so it's, like, mirroring them. This is why, like, K-pop also have, like, this, like, terrible practice too, because they're mirroring, like, how Japan does that shit. But why is it like that is because 50-60 years ago, I think it's, like, more than 50-60 years, it's, like, 80 years ago at this point. 80 years ago, the entertainment industry in, like, Asia side, like the Hong Kong and, like, Japan side, they are really have a tight relationship, or, like, literally is run. I mean, like, literally is run by crime syndicate. But again, like, there's, like, a lot of, like, history about, like, Malaysia. Oh, where was I again? I guess, like, why, like, entertainment industry is so fucked up. Let's say again, in Asia, all entertainment industry is literally it's literally controlled by, or not controlled, literally handled by crime syndicate. So why all the clause and, like, contract is so fucking horrible is because you can't really say anything about it. Like the guy that you're signing, like, sitting right in front of you while you're signing for the contract is literally having a scar on their face, or, like, one eye is, like, blinded and stuff, and, or, like, a body, like, full of tattoo. Like, back then, like, tattoo really, like, means like a lot of things, especially in Asia. So would you see, like, those kind of, like, unfair contract, you would say anything? Man, if you accidentally, like, sneeze and piss them off, you might not see the tomorrow light. Who the fuck would complain about it? So it's because of that, like, the contract, like, especially for entertainment industry contract, is so horrendous because of that. And they become, like, but the thing is, like, they write it as horrible as possible because they are crime members, so, like, they want to take advantage of people as much as possible too. So it's kind of like they're still trying to earn money too, so, like, it's so the contract end is always super duper profitable and positive on the studio end. It's not going to help like the actor or like any like you know, like anyone that work in entertainment at all. It's only going to fill up the pocket of like the big guys. Why? Because like they literally are the biggest guy there, and not just the biggest guy, like even in like gang status, like they are the biggest there. So they literally have like the contract is basically they will gobble up all the benefit, and no one can say anything, because like I say again, you would disappear if you try to like say anything about it, complain a single clause, you won't get it tomorrow. And I'm not even kidding about that. So that those kind of contract keep passing down throughout ages, and because as time keep passing down shit, people just got used to it, you know. It's like how unfair the contract is. Nobody actually asked a question because they kind of like thought, oh, this kind of contract has been working for ages. It's not going to be any problem, right? Right. And then until like they, you know, touch the Western side. Also because of that, so people don't really see anything wrong with it, because like those kind of like very predatory contract has been there for like ages. People just keep using it, you know, as the next passing down next to the next to the next to the next CEO. And this is why like they have like this like very like harsh and very strict hierarchy like system in there, because it's literally a gang mentality like hierarchy system in there. It's not running a business around the time. This is how they run their kind of like little like social club in there. So it kind of like end up passing out as a, you know, oh, my mother's cooked like that, and then your mother will share like, oh, my mother's cooked like that. Oh, then your mother's mother say like, oh, my mother's cooked like that, so we cook like that. And then they just keep doing that shit. Like it become like a ancient traditions at that point. Well, technically Hollywood is still very bad right now. Hollywood is entertainment industry is very cutthroat, literally. I don't mean like this like cutthroat business thingy. I'm not even joking about it. Back in the days, it's literally like that, and Hollywood is not straying way too far from it, due to like Edison like meddling. A lot of people actually have quite a lot of like violent mentality in there too. Like they aren't really like, you know, like, because like on the Western side they have like union and like strike stuff kind of things happening there, so they do have the rule change here and there. But trust me, like back in the days, I don't think Hollywood actually is that great. And even like I think even now is kind of like worse, because again, like profit going thingy, numbers always goes up, and then all the corporate shenanigans happens. Like even like the Hollywood industry is not really that great. Yeah, that's how they actually like, you know, like how to convert shady money into real money is to invest into film industry back in the days. So yeah, like most like entertainment industry is kind of like hand to hand. Like I think even nowadays the kind of is like just hush hush at this point. They kind of like just a very hush hush way to kind of like, you know, use those money to sponsor like support them, and then they'll make film, get money, pass it to them. Now it's like better way you can say it's just like stock market stuff, but back in the days it's literally like cash exchange stuff at that point. But kind of like it's like that. I can't say it. I don't want to have like a red dot right above my head, you know. But yeah, like it's very scary. Entertainment industry is scary. So fucking scary, the point that you kind of like nowadays you see like how now you understand how fucked up Niji Sanji like contract is. Why is it so fucked up? Why people are kind of finding it, especially for Asian people, because we kind of got used to it. We just assume that this is normal at this point. It's been like a 3 generation gap. Like I say, people already forgot who the fuck Hangtua is. How would they remember how organization is what kind of organization is actually running the film industry, entertainment industry back in the days? Oh, don't worry. There's so many documentary talking about that. How those kind of crime syndicate, big boss got arrested, this and that, yeah, that stuff. Yeah, they actually got arrested at the end too. Obviously, a crime syndicate at the end. But the only one that kind of got it scot-free is actually just Thomas Edison's. Yeah. Fucking hate that guy. Fucking hate him. Why I keep saying, I will always, forever, ever, and will be ever, call him Thomas fucking Edison's. I don't hold back my language when I call Thomas fucking Edison's. He's a bad person. Evil person, in fact. If you don't know the context, actually, Thomas Edison is not exactly inventors. He called himself an inventor so he can patent shit up, and he can monopolize the market of that particular thing. So he keep calling himself an inventor, toss money into stuff so he can patent it, make it improve a little bit, and make it work, and just monopolize the market with patent money. And he run a smear campaign to smear the shit out of Tesla. Keep calling him some crazy doo-doo, and then later on use his inventions for his own means. That is fucked up, you know. I used to look up at him when I was a kid, and I do not know why he is in the freaking textbook. Maybe he keep calling himself an inventor a little bit too many times. So people just write him in the history book as inventor. He is a businessman, a cutthroat businessman, in fact. He literally invent most of the... Yeah, he is an inventor. He's an invent of all the evil capitalism tactic in the world. Do you know he back in the days, he literally almost tried his best to take over the entire entertainment industries by pattern up a certain way. You kind of imagine this thing. Let me open up a page for this. Hold on, just a normal square. It's fine. So remember back in the days people doing so people doing those kind of filming stuff. They have you see those old timey-wimey filming things, right? So I don't know why I feel the need to draw a very complete one, but yeah, there's this kind of machine that plays the projectors, those kind of things, right? He this thing is loop around in here, and then do this in here, and then go into the projectors, and then the projector do things, those kind of machinery. He patented this particular part, a way to loop the film to make the film, you need the things. It's like a bike chain. You need it to be very tight. So he patented this really optimized loop. He patented this method, the optimization of the loop, that make the film become really tight, so it can play film really smoothly, to keep extorting people everywhere. If people are not using this loop, he will hire goons. I'm not kidding. Goons to force them to use this loop, and then have to pay him the patent. And also, he is the father of piracy. How should I say father of piracy? There are people doing going all around the world, pirating other people movie from different country, like take their own film, like copy it, this and that, yeah, that stuff. Someone even like illegally, like like those kind of things, like imagine only like this particular sport channel can have this like football show, and then there's some other illegal cameraman in there film all the football show and then live stream into his own channel. That is illegal, right? And then some people did that shit like back in the days on boxing match, and then they technically pirate the entire show in their own POV, and then take it back because they didn't because normally around those time you have to set up the show, have your own camera, have your own lighting. You really have to pay a lot of money to get a lot of setup there, and people can just illegally come in and use all the things that you pay to set up and then just get a very good film out of it. That is like in a way is a piracy back then. So he spent time to film that show, go back to US trying to sell it, and then you know what happened? Next day, that guy woke up without having even start copying and selling it. Thomas fucking Edison already starts selling the things that he kind of like stole recorded. Why? Because that guy has freaking like espionage in every like piracy like company that steal the pirate. He is a pirate that steal pirate stuff by using corporate espionage. He sends spies into people company to steal that shit. Do you know how ridiculous it sounds? And Thomas fucking Edison is the one that control all the shit. And do you know, another thing is like, originally, everyone like doing movie industry thing, they do filming and stuff, they like, he created like a group called Trust Group that people have to licensing stuff under their name in order to do filming, force themselves to do that. And a lot of people like back then, before like Hollywood is conceptualized, he's like everyone was like do a lot of filming stuff in the New Jersey area. And then Thomas fucking Edison hired gang member, I'm not even kidding, he hired gang member, go into people film site, force them to either join him or have a bullet in their camera. And do you know what? A lot of people move to Hollywood area. Do you know why? Because so many people have their camera have bullets in them. And I'm not even kidding. You can look at the documentary on a lot of things. It's literally have bullets. They literally shoot bullets into their camera so they can't film. Basically just hire people to harass them. And he basically keep doing that shit until everyone ran away from Jersey and then went to the supposed to be Hollywood area, and then they established Hollywood over there. Yeah. Apparently, like, entertainment industry and crime syndicate like connections is always like back in the days. When I say back in the days, I mean like 70, maybe like 70 to 80 years ago. It's either like crime syndicate literally got hold of the entire like entertainment industry, or like they literally they are basically working in the background doing the sponsor and stuff. In Asia, it's still a very prominent thing, I think, like around like those kind of time. And they got hold so much. This is why, like, in entertainment industry, like all the idol stuff, all the star actors, like those kind of things, when you look at their contract, you will say like, this is bullshit. How is like this unfair contract exist? Because back in the day, the boss is actually a gang boss. Do you want to say like, oh, fuck this is not fair, and then you might not see the next tomorrow, son. And that's how people, how like the contract is always look so shitty, and has been passed down by generation to generation of film industry, and then they keep using it because it kind of works, and it also benefit them a lot, so they just didn't change. And nowadays, like, people who use those type of contract as has been like called out a lot. Niji Sanji. And a lots of like K-pop industry, J-pop industry, idol industry, like a lots of like those kind of industry get call out a lot of this like very predatory like contract. But yeah, it was passed down from like the crime syndicate era. And do you know why in Western side they have a much more fairer like style of like entertainment contract? One, they have union stuff there, obviously, but the second is actually Thomas fucking Edison again. Because he runs so rampantly in the entire United States, the government have no choice but to stop him. Yes, like he literally runs so wild in the United States, and with his like very legal goons, and yeah, the government basically have to stop him. They literally have to act to stop him, and then stop a lot of like very, very criminal things that he's doing. And this guy's in the textbook. This fucker is in the textbook. Yes, he was so much of a menace to society to the point that government had to stop him. You think about like back in the days, there's so many crime syndicate that within all the entertainment industry, why aren't they actually get to like stopped by the government? It's because they kind of like pay them and collude with them. And I think definitely like Thomas Edison also did that shit too. But he was so bold and so blatantly abused of his own powers, government have no choice but to stop him. You can think about that. He don't operate in the shadow, he operate in the open fucking field. And nobody actually know that kind of piece of his history that much. And thank you for the following. I need to change like quite a lot of things in the future, like how the notification works. This is just default like Podtrix one. But yeah, this is why I really don't like Thomas fucking Edison. And I will always and shall always call him Thomas fucking Edison. You know what? I might make an entire clip just talking about how much fucking hate voter I have on Thomas Edison. He definitely actually invented something, but I don't think his invention always is good. Like people keep touting him like being the inventor of light bulb. That is like the most like highest achievement he have. He doesn't even actually achieve it. He just tosses money to it until it work. Imagine it's like a rich guy like, you know what if I ride a bicycle with a tougher chain, so the chain don't broke, and then people would be like, yeah, it's a good idea, our chain keep broken, because like it's just like iron is actually quite soft sometimes, it can break it and get rusted. So he would just keep tossing money. Okay, let's try aluminium. Okay, let's try steel. Let's try carbon fiber. He just keep tossing money, letting people like make shit and just replace the bicycle chain until it works. Yay, inventions. I invented light bulb after that. He just tossed money at shit. And even way before he is like being called as a scientist and inventor, he is already a very rich person. I remember like his parent is like well off. And then he have money to do lots of jack shit. Thomas Edison is a dick. And I should call him Thomas Dickerson Edison's. And then like Tesla literally is like, He is like a legit inventor. He literally tries shit out, invents stuff, makes stuff work. You know what? And then like Thomas Edison used his huge amount of money, run a fucking smear campaign on him. Yes, smear campaign on him in fucking newspaper. Why? Because he have the money. And then Tesla lose all his sponsors. He already don't really have a lot of money to begin with. Once he lost all his sponsors, he can't do jack shit. That guy literally was depressed and deranged for a while. How much of a dick like fucking Thomas Edison is? And then once you hear about like how criminal he is in like the filming industry, you will learn that holy fucking shit, that guy is a fucking menace. You know what? I keep talking about it. Sounds like I don't have any backup. I literally will now. I will now go to here. Hold on, okay? Hold on. I will literally play the video. About how much ridiculous. Hold on. No, I should actually show it in here. Okay, let's show it in here. Okay? I will be showing you how much of a fucking dick it is.
Light bulb have to do with BitTorrent? And how can a director named Cecil be the ultimate badass? Film School wanted to take a look back at how piracy changed the movies, but what we found is that piracy built the movies. Buckle your seatbelts, mateys. It's time to get Film School. Pirates have always been a subject of great cinema. No, not that kind of piracy. We're talking about the piracy of ideas. And in regards to cinema, a lot is at stake. Millions of dollars, thousands of jobs, and the creative integrity of some of humanity's most profound artistic achievements. This isn't about not using BitTorrent or popcorn time, although when you do that, you hurt the industry you love, like hugging someone so hard you break their ribs. Before the turn of the 20th century, the film industry, if you could even call it that, was really just a bunch of guys who figured out...
Is it loud enough? I need to like boost the sound, I guess.
The illusion of motion. In fact, early copyrights attempted to protect each and every frame on one sheet of paper.
Okay, now you guys can hear it.
Idiots. But it wasn't their fault. No one knew what to make of this new moving medium, and no one knew how to define its authorship. The problem with this budding industry was that for all its multi-billion-dollar potential, it was a rotten, lawless wasteland of crooks and deviants trying to pull one over on the next guy so they could get their slice of the money pie, which is the most delicious pie. These days, everything is actually, no, it's almost exactly the same and pretty much the same sort of people. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. St. Thomas Edison, the guy responsible for the light bulb, the phonograph, and the American patent on the motion picture camera, was involved in every landmark piracy copyright case until 1912. That was because Edison wanted it all. He wanted fast cash and easy women, or at least the patents on both the fast cash and easy women. Edison wanted a monopoly on all things movies, or as they called them back then, flickers. He wanted full control of the ability to make movies, to distribute movies, and to project those movies. He even wanted to be the sole manufacturer and dealer of motion picture cameras. Cue him stroking a white cat in an underground
Anyone who gets in my way is in for some serious trouble. They'll have to face the full might of the trust.
So let's back up. We'll get to the trust in a minute. In the very early days of motion pictures, around 1895, there were no laws or any sort of ethics protecting the rights of films or filmmakers. Filmmakers and theaters had little regard for camera machine patents, and many would manufacture their own versions of other people's instruments. Kind of like the Nintendo V. Even more vulnerable than the hardware were the films themselves. Unabashed copying was unauthorized and considered standard practice in the early days of the industry. Even Edison had built his business model on duping other people's films. French and English films were the most susceptible to duplication information because they were less likely to have US patents. So when a new film came out, it was the fastest dupers who were the ones to profit most. Even the films of Georges Méliès, which were shown legitimately in the United States, were also pirated and smuggled out of France to be brought to America. Early film piracy was fairly simple. 1. Get your hands on a film that you really liked. Let's say A Trip to the Moon.
My audience
Now it's just
love
very
that.
easy.
2. Run an unexposed film strip next to the film you want to copy. 3. Shine a light through both strips of film. 4. Voila! You've got your own negative.
Am I rich yet?
Step 5 is you repeat with the negative and an unexposed film strip to make a new print. And 6, you make as many copies as your evil money-grubbing heart desires.
All of the copies! Piracy is delicious.
Also a victim of piracy in the early days of cinema? Adaptations. Yes, even from the beginning, the movie industry was fraught with adaptations and remakes, though very rarely authorized. The novel Ben-Hur was a huge hit for its publisher, but it was adapted unofficially time and time again before the courts knew how to define the relationship between literature and film. Piracy of movies became so widespread that film companies began painting their company logo onto sets appearing in their own films. The Edison trademark can be seen on a burning wall in Life of an American Fireman, and the American Biograph logo can be seen on a street organ in her.
Here's the thing. He pirated shit and put his logo on it and said he licensed that shit now. Now he licensed that shit now. That's how he licensed the shit now.
First adventure, and is also easy to spot throughout the Lonely Villa. It's kind of like how we put a Cinefix logo in the bottom right corner, right? See it down there? Yeah. How exactly does this prevent pirating? We have no idea. And they didn't either, but with all the rampant pirating, it was at least one way to prove what films belonged to whom. In 1897, Edison began his determined battle for complete control. In years of endless court cases, he fought over who had the right to determine the shape and size of sprocket holes in film strips, over the difference between hand-cranked filmmaking and automatic filmmaking, and over the right to protect and distribute film. But one of Edison's strongest claims was over film loops. For the following 11 years, Edison claimed a copyright on loops. Known as the Latham loop, this copyrighted technology isolates the film strip from vibration and tension, allowing movies to be
forced people
continuously
to
shot
pay
and projected
copyright
for
to
extended
him.
periods of time. Edison's claim was that because of the Armat patent on the Latham loop, a patent he owned, he had rights on a specific loop in film machines. We're not making this up. He had a claim on the shape of the loop. You see that right there? That was apparently owned by Edison. And in court, a federal judge upheld the validity of Edison's Latham loop. So he actually owned the loops.
All the loops!
But not all of Edison's claims came out of court so fruitful, including the claim that he invented the motion picture process in 1889. When this battle over cinema came to the boxing ring,
He basically claimed he invented all the shit in everything. That is how he do copyright patent and then just like force people to, like make people pay him. He is not an inventor. He is a businessman. He just used the word invented to get a patent on shit so he can copyright the shit out of people.
in 1899. Literally, American Biograph.
So later on, everyone got fucking confused that why, he keep all the people that in the historian only know that, oh, this guy said that he invented shit because but he said it just to get a patent copyright. It's not like he said he actually did it, which is the most asshole way you can find.
One of Edison's rivals set up a massive indoor lighting rig in order to film their first movie illuminated by electricity. The lights had to be massive because at this point film stock was slow and typically needed the bright light of the sun to expose a decent image. In fact, the lights were so hot that they burned the hair from the top of both fighters' heads. The Jeffrey Sharkey's fight was to be filmed exclusively by American Biograph, who spent an arm and a leg setting up these massive lighting rigs. However, 20 rows back, a competing motion picture company, Vitagraph, set up their own camera to film the match. When the Biograph people found out about the Vitagraph crew, they were pissed, and they sent a team of Pinkerton detectives to confiscate the machine. Because the audience surrounding Vitagraph was eager to watch a public beating, they rallied and blocked the detectives from reaching Vitagraph, and their blockade ended up causing more commotion outside the ring than the boxing match itself. But Vitagraph's Albert E. Smith was able to record the entire fight, and in all the commotion, he smuggled the film out of the arena and had the film developed in the Vitagraph lab. But it gets better. The next morning, Smith discovered that the film he had illegally pirated had been pirated out of his own lab. And who do you think was responsible this time?
Fucking Thomas Edison.
One of Thomas Edison's own inside men. So even though Biograph went through...
Yeah, here's the thing. Inside man, you hear it right. He literally have corporate espionage. He sent fucking spy into people company. He sent fucking spy into people company. I repeat again, he sent spy into people fucking company. And steal that shit. Now you know why I fucking hate him.
All the trouble of setting up lights and paying boxing promoters, it was Vitagraph and Edison who carried the money to the bank. Biograph got zilch. Now let's talk about the trust. In 1908, in partnership with his former rival Biograph and others,
Now he is his gang member.
Edison formed the Motion Pictures Patents Company, otherwise known as the Trust. The Trust licensed equipment built under Edison's patents to willing producers, thus helping cement the monopoly Edison always wanted. The Trust not only sued people who tried to make their own camera system, but also began taking more extreme measures to mark their territory, like peeing on cameras. I'm joking, they didn't do that. With the growing popular and financial success of movies, the Trust and
I trust he actually does that.
increasingly difficult to deal with, and the danger for anyone opposing the Trust became more real. This is why Carl Laemmle, Cecil B. DeMille, Samuel Goldwyn, and D.W. Griffith, the titans of Hollywood, ended up in Hollywood. It was about as far away from Edison as they could get without leaving the country.
Yeah, literally, it's
If not for the
opposite
Trust,
side of
Hollywood
the
would
entire
probably
America.
still be in New Jersey, because that's where Edison was, and that would suck. Or not. I've actually never been to Jersey. I hear it's quite nice. By 1912, there were dozens of companies in Hollywood, and with weather like this and a wide variety of natural environments to film and hardly any traffic on the 405, no one looked back. Pissed and frustrated in his ivory tower that light bulbs built, Edison sent private detectives to prowl the states for anyone shooting films. He managed to coerce some of the smaller companies into agreeing to whatever terms he said, but his more
Quote-unquote private detective. And then you hear like the latter term.
companies fled to areas like Cuba, Florida, and of course California, the Trust had to step up their game. Like any rational business, they hired a group of thugs to shut down unauthorized productions. How would these thugs display power and authority over shutting down productions? Well, it's funny you should ask. If producers didn't agree to Edison's terms, they got bullets in their cameras. That's not a metaphor. That was Edison's preferred method of shutting down productions, and crew members' lives were at risk. In his biography...
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's real. It's real. Go check the history. He does that shit. But it's not in the history book. Huh? Greatest inventor. The first light bulb inventor. My fucking ass.
Cecil B. DeMille claims that he was shot at on numerous occasions. DeMille was certain the Trust was trying to kill him. So, like many of the others who moved to Hollywood, he slept in his studio. I mean, who can afford real estate prices? He also kept his shotgun nearby, rode a horse to work, and was known to carry a revolver hanging off his belt in plain sight. Over time, his firearm collection grew so large that he started using them as props for movies. Okay, now here's the part that's so insane we wouldn't even try to make it up, because you'd be like, nah. Cecil B. DeMille, the man responsible for some of the most epic Hollywood films of all time, kept a wolf in his home. And you thought your pit bull Mr. Fancy was tough. Sure, the wolf was tame and was featured in the 1914 film The Squaw Man, but who fucks with a dude who owns a wolf? Sabotage had already taken place at the laboratory and anonymous death threats were arriving in the mail, but if riding a horse to work and carrying a revolver on his belt weren't enough of a warning to Edison's thugs, the wolf definitely sealed the deal. The Edison Trust was finally dissolved by court order in 1918, setting the way for the motion picture industry to really flourish in the 1920s. Hollywood would be better for it. Relocating to California started as an act of defiance, but the right to produce and exhibit movies is an art form that shouldn't be monitored by a gun-toting monopoly that shoots your cameras. Seriously, Edison was a power-hungry bully. In a day and age where we have the ability...
Here's the thing. This is what happened. Because back in the days, how the crime syndicate run the entertainment industry, they are in cahoot with the bribing lots of official back in the days. You already know how corrupted Hong Kong government official back in the days. It's I do remember there's one time they literally had to start a purge. basically every single cop in like Hong Kong around the time, like I think it's like in a specific area or something, or like all the Hong Kong and higher government is basically everyone is corrupted. Everyone's corrupt as fuck. So like here's the thing, like in America's side, because how fucking awful Thomas Edison is, government had to put a fucking stop to him. This is why Western side of the entertainment industry is not that fuck, because Edison went overboard.
Ability to produce Sundance-worthy films on our cell phones and digital piracy is way out of control. It's good to recognize that the next time you're illegally streaming your favorite TV show, you couldn't have done it without the hard work and piracy of cinema's forefathers, especially Thomas Edison and Cecil B. DeMille. Till next time, cinema nerds, class dismissed.
Yeah. Fucking Thomas Edison's. I'm pointing middle finger at the moment. Well, either way, I show you guys my proof. That's actually a legit like article, and then a lots of things written about him too. You can find even more article. This is like the most like compacted versions. Like if anyone want to like read more stuff, they can like legitly go find it. I'm not kidding. There's like so many evidence. Either way, yeah. Like Sombrero say, it's late. Even though like the anger energy has been rising up to the point that I get back like more energy at this point, but still. It's pretty late, so yeah. Thank you very much for staying with me too, Sombrero. It's like especially hearing my freaking yap for no reasons. So yeah, anyway, thank you everyone for watching, and as always, stay healthy, stay safe. Until next time, stay tuned on the next stream. Bye bye.